statement. It says 10-3-13 LRJ 9:28 a.m. 48 BHR advisory answering machine discharge questions. 10-7-13 LRJ, no response from the employer. So they didn't even contact them and give them any insight. Then as I began to review through, I'm acknowledging, it says here, type of work claimant performed, which is me. It says utility. They didn't put my pay rate down, but I was making $18.33 an hour. Now this is where I got them again falsifying information. It says General Mills falsifying information.
General Mills, okay.
It says date claimant last work 10/1/2013, but yet you guys sent it out on September 27th. How can you say if you sent it out September 27th and put down my last day as 10/1? For one, my last date of officially working was September 13, 2013. Okay, that was the last day I worked, and you guys terminated me September 16th of 2013. But yeah, you put on here 10/1, which is October 1st, 2013, and then you sent this here that I'm reading off. This is the protest form when they protest against my unemployment. Now you falsifying because how can and then at the bottom it says claimant was unable to perform known requirements of the position on 9/13/2013 around 2 p.m. Claimant left a threatening message on his release phone that violated GMI's respectful workplace, which I stated to you that I did not violate their workplace policy. I didn't get into it with an employee. I got into it with an employee's girlfriend, who is not an employee of General Mills. Not just that, you guys stated here a false again that you saying that my last date of me working was 10/1 of 2013.
And they fired you the 16th?
They fired me the September 16th, 2013.
Wow, that's something. And they set up there, and so that's obviously falsifying
documents.
Man, that is really something there.
And it states by law, any falsification, given can result in legal actions. Then also I have here, it says deputies reason and rationale. No additional information from the employer, which is General Mills. The employer states the claimant left a threatening message on a co-worker's phone regarding the co-worker's girlfriend. The employer states the message was not left during work hours or while on company property. The claimant states he was instructed by, which is me, was instructed by a lead person to call the claimant to see if he was coming into work. The claimant states the co-worker's girlfriend became abusive towards him while on the phone and said the co-worker would not be reporting for work. The claimant informed the lead person the co-worker would not report for work, which I ended up when I first spoke with my relief. I informed him when he told me he had just woke up and he was coming. I told you I was going to let management know what was going on. So I don't understand, why would you have her call me? If I told you I was letting management know, you should have just called management.
Right.
Why would you have her call me? You know I'm not a manager. You know I'm a regular employee like yourself. So why would you have your girlfriend call me when I already stated to you that I was informing the management of what was going on? And that was at 7:08. And then you have your girlfriend call me back 25 to 26 minutes after the fact. Okay? Now it says the claimant informed the lead person the co-worker would not report for work. The lead person excused the claimant from work. The claimant states the co-worker's girlfriend continued to call his phone and she was abusive towards the claimant and the claimant's girlfriend, which I have the text messages showing how she was cursing and making threats and everything, even furthermore after when I was speaking to her and I had advised her of what he should do in regards to him calling off.
Right.
And she was cursing at me, making threats towards me and my girlfriend, my child, everything. Now I got a text message where she did it. Now she's threatening my job.
And then all this here, and the company fires you.
Fired me, and he's still working as of this day.
That's what I'm going to ask you. So where did he stand at?
He's still working. He's still working as of right now. Now it says the claimant states the co-worker's girlfriend continued to call his phone, and she was abusive towards the claimant and the claimant's girlfriend. The employer failed to provide, which is General Mills. The employer failed to provide information to verify the co-worker's girlfriend was an employee, which she ain't an employee, so that's why they couldn't provide any information. And it says the employer failed to provide prior write-ups the claimant received for abusive behavior, since they're trying to say that they try to fire me for misconduct and everything. But yeah, when they were asked to provide, information of, as if I had any issues or anything, they couldn't provide any because I never got into it with anyone or never had any issue, So that's why they couldn't provide anything, because I never got into it with anyone and I ain't have no write-up.
So here, this fella here, he sits up here and falsified records of evidence about his hands being broken and all, and his girlfriend caused all this confusion and everything, but you're the one being terminated and fired.
Exactly. Then it says the employer failed to cite a willful act of work-related misconduct. No misconduct. Which means, they didn't even do an incident. When I came to my milling manager and stated to him what occurred, he was supposed to, right after I left and I informed him, he was supposed to make an incident report.
Right.
He never did that. Then it's showing if my relief came to them saying that, that they feel for their lives and everything, how is it that they didn't even do an incident report for that? And then, not to cut you off, what's killing me is, now that's after everything that I'm acknowledging that occurred, that's letting me know that my union didn't even don't even have these things. So that's furthermore shows misrepresentation. Because how is it if unemployment doesn't have this, and that's government, you as my union don't have it, pretty much you stating what you should have asked for that. And that means I should have been working as of right now.
So what is the union saying about this other your relief who is white that is still down there employed and working? It's false.
They don't say any. They have, again, I haven't heard anything from no one.
Even though he obviously has been proven to give false statements.
False statements. This has put an emotional.
Sure it is.
And it's put a mental strain on me. I can't sleep at night. Now you guys fired me and everything, and I'm collecting unemployment to try to to take care of my family and everything. And now you're trying to mess with my unemployment and take away the little bit that I'm getting. And you guys wrongfully terminated me, and that's like bullying now.
Right. So are you have they made any conclusion of giving you your employment yet, or you still not receiving?
I haven't. I'm not. Well, as of right now, I'm still continuing to receive my unemployment until it states that my unemployment will stop. I won't be receiving unemployment if the employer wins the appeal. But I have documentation here showing how they wrongfully terminated me. I have it here where, the person wasn't employed. They couldn't even provide information to unemployment of why they tried to say misconduct, and unemployment found that there was no misconduct. They couldn't even, the employer couldn't even give anything. So why am I terminated?
And the other fellow is still working.
And it's still working.
And he's white.
Lied
and made false justification about his hands been broken and so forth. And it was his girlfriend that brought about a lot of the altercation.
Exactly.
But he's still working, and he was fired.
And I was fired.
Trying to get your job back.
And I've been trying to get my, but now based on what I'm seeing, I'm scared right now, because I'm scared to go back to work, because I'm scared of the security of my family. How do I not know now that if I go back to work, they're gonna try to find some little thing to fire me on now? And it's been documented where, and I have evidence where it's proved where, you know, other employees done try to, you know, come at the employer for wrongful things, and the employers done had them sign paperwork, and then all of a sudden fired these people, and now these people can't even come back and sue them, because it states within their documentation that, you know, once you sign this, you can't sue us. Right. So once, you know, they hire you back, now they look for any little thing, and then they fire you, and then you can't collect your unemployment now. Now you can't even sue them. And that's how they do things. So I'm concerned now, because now that I have this, and also it's been, you know, found that vandalism done occurred for you know, employees who done try to come against, you know, and bring justice to the, you know, for all these accusations. They have an employee and that done a noose incident, who is white, and I worked with the man, and he is still employed there as of today. And this happened on their time, on their property, and all they did was gave the gentleman 3-day suspension, and that was it. So yet here I got into it with a non-employee. They had nothing to do with General Mills' business. Who was white. Who was white, and y'all fired me. That's racial discrimination. And it was on the news and everything. And before anyone try to say, oh, there's any cahoots, if you can literally Google this stuff. And that's what I feel. The company felt as if I was just gonna be some person just let things just go. No, I researched, because I don't know nothing about this company. So I wanted to research and see if anybody else went through this, and Lord and behold, I find all this. Even if you could go through the public court's records, and it will show. It even shows where the head of HR was subpoenaed to come to court. Yeah. Because the old co-worker who used to work there had an issue and came at the head of HR and General Mills. So if they try to use that, oh well, you know, I was in cahoots with, no. I came across Robert Dupree through Google.
What did you find out?
And then when I find out, they fired Robert Dupree on the incident. They said that you set a mill, a roast. Pretty much they try to say you set the mill on fire, and that's why they terminated you. But yeah, how would you have a white male that this happened, who was a miller, and this happened August of 2013, who set the mill on fire 3 times in the same week, which the fire out of one of those days, it set the whole roll stand on fire, where they ended up having to literally replace the whole roll stand, and the fire went from the 4th floor to the 8th floor through spouting. I was there because I had to had to be there to disassemble some of that equipment and try to scrub out a lot of the burn from it, and we had to replace stuff. And you fired Robert Dupree because you say that he set a roll stand on fire.
That's just scorched.
Well, scorched or burned a roll stand on fire. But here you go, you got a white, and Robert Dupree is black. But yeah, you got a white miller / grinder, which is his job is to make the flour. This man was white. Been there 14 years in the company. Robert Dupree was there 20 years. You got this man who's been here 14 years. White, set the mill on fire 3 times in the same week, and you didn't suspend this brother. You didn't fire him. Only thing you did was demoted him from a milling position to a utility, that's racial discrimination.
And he's currently still working.
And he's currently still working there.
And he said he'd moved back up to.
And right now, when I got fired, they dropped him to a sweeper position, and he had moved up to a utility.
So he's moving back up the ladder then.
Exactly.
No suspension.
No suspension.
That's long termination.
No termination.
And obviously the union allowed this to go.
And the union allowed, evidently, because he's still working. Yeah. General Mills allowed it to happen because he's still working.
They had to have no grievances filed and nothing.
Well, I don't know. I don't think that a grievance would be filed because he acknowledged he did that.
Okay, acknowledged everything. Of course, there wouldn't be no grievance filed or nothing like that. But right.
And the plant manager, and I seen it before I left. And this is how I kind of find that there's racial stuff going on because the plant manager, the milling manager, and team leaders was, before I was leaving, they were coming to speak to him, that miller, who was white. And all of these management I just stated to you that came to speak to him are white. They came to speak with him. And evidently, they should have told him, as of right now, you're fired. But yet, they came, spoke to him, and they gave him the opportunity to still work for you guys after he put the whole plant in jeopardy.
Yeah,
because they had us watch videos in regards to, flour milling, and it states where they show how a fire if a fire was to reach flour or especially wheat dust,
right,
and where that mill was is close. It's close right on the side of it is the wheat house, which there's wheat dust and stuff.
Right, a lot of it.
And that could have cost the whole plant their lives, and you still allow this white gentleman to work there. That's racial discrimination. But yeah, here goes Robert Dupree, worked 20 years, and you fired him for saying he scorched a roll stand. But here this man pretty much scorched, set the whole thing on fire, and had the fire travel from the 4th floor to the 8th floor. That's 4 floors high. And no one fired this man.
And legal documents proved and showed that what they accused me of was false.
And if you I promise, if someone were to go up there right now and say, bring that up about a white male, this happened in August 2013, who was a miller, or they call him miller, grinder, same thing, who set this plant on fire, and he was demoted, they will find it.
Yeah.
But here goes, they try to put you in the same category, but yet you as an African American got fired. That's not fair.
And much more.
That's racial discrimination.
Definitely. So where do all of this here on your part, where do all this stand as of right now?
As of right now, I like my job. But I'm scared. I'm scared to go back to General Mills. I don't want to go back because I'm scared for what can happen to me. Again, I have where it shows vandalism have occurred to employees who try to, bring justice against this company. I'm scared that they're gonna try to get me to sign a paperwork, and then they're gonna try to find any little thing to fire me to safeguard themselves.
Just putting you back into a hostile.
I'm scared. Exactly. Because even some of the white co-workers that were in there, you would try to ask them for guidance and help, and they will look at you up and down and will walk right past you.
Now, what title was these particular
mechanics.
Were they white?
They were white. Their positions were, some of them were like mechanics. Majority of them is mechanics. Because when the issue, like if it's a big issue, you are to contact the mechanic and electricians, and some of those white mechanics and electricians, if you were to call them, They, I'm busy. But let it be someone who's white, and they call, hey, I need it. They coming right away.
Just like that.
But let it be someone who's a minority, black, Hispanic. You gonna have to wait.
Did anyone ever?
Not to cut you off, that's right. I'm scared of the security for myself and my family and my money. You know, I not just that. I got here where they got falsified. They falsified paperwork.
I wanted to mention that you said what took place again when you first got hired in down there, and from personnel management or whoever this was telling you something concerning the Dark Ages. They were speaking about the Dark Ages, and then as I began to speak with coworkers who've been there 20 years, and during that occurrence of the Dark Ages they were referring to, it was then brought to my attention that they